As sophisticated as some of my investing strategies are, I also invest in things like Pokemon cards and Dragon Ball cards, and for a lot of people, it leaves them scratching their heads going, why the hell would he do that? So what I will do is share my thoughts around what the investing market looks like when it comes to trading cards at the moment, what I'm expecting in the next couple of years, and this is by request from you guys. You wanted to see some of the collection, so I'm going to share all of that in this video. If you guys are interested, keep watching. Hey guys, my name's Ravi and welcome back to Personal Finance with Ravi Sharma. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button because I talk about real estate, cryptocurrency, and financial freedom. Oh, and Pokemon cards, because I do that sometimes. Now, if you are wanting more daily content, then definitely check out Patreon. There's a link in the description below. Some exciting stuff happening there. I do talk about all asset classes that I'm investing in, including trading cards, and how there is a bit of a unique opportunity over the next couple of months that I'm seeing play out. Now, do stay till the end of this video because I will share some of my own collection, along with some numbers around what I've invested, how much it's worth today, and what I think is going to happen over the next couple of years. So why Pokemon cards? Why Dragon Ball cards? Are these actually just, a game of musical chairs? Yeah, probably. It's the price of some of these collectibles, along with any collectible in the market, is really about what someone is willing to pay. So when you really think about that, it's not a very sophisticated way of investing. There's more emotion than logic. And I come out here on these videos and I say,
well, distance yourself from the logic and the emotion.
But what I do say is, keep an open mind because you're going to learn some stuff in this video that you may not have thought about before. And it gets you to start questioning how things happen moving forward when it comes to traditional assets versus alternative assets. Now, I'm not the first one to go and invest into alternative assets. There's plenty of people that you do respect and actually look up to when it comes to investing, and they make a killing from it. So let's dive into what's happened, how did I get into trading cards, and what I think is happening next. So I got in 2020, which is pretty much the equivalent of 2017 and 2018 crypto bull run. When everyone is talking about it, it's all over the news and every single news article is about cryptocurrency. So when you look at trading cards, what happened in 2020? Well, we had the COVID pandemic where every asset class just took a dive during the time that, the COVID variant was around. But then we see some assets grew to levels that have never been seen before. When you couple that with more attention, media, and influencers, now you get yourself a recipe for the top of the market. So that's exactly what happened. In 2020, we had some sort of growth, but it was a year before we have the 25th anniversary for Pokemon. It came out in 1996, so in 2021, it's 25 years of the Pokemon trading card game, which is absolutely insane. Now, that's in the Japanese version, that came out first. When you compare that to the English version, which was pretty much when we were playing, that was in 1999. So the most notable influences in the space were Gary Vee, and then you had Logan Paul. When these individuals started talking about it, you also had people that had been following their journey for a long time, including myself, that knew that they had made great calls about whether it was business strategy, whether it was collectibles, whether it was alternative assets. They made some really good calls and really good plays. So for me, I started paying attention. And I feel like I was sort of late to the Pokemon game, but I say I'm early to the Dragon Ball Super game, and I'll explain that. But with Pokemon, it absolutely took off. It was everywhere. People were watching videos, new YouTube channels were popping up, local game stores were popping up because everyone was making money off it. You couldn't get into store to go and buy Pokemon cards because there was nothing left on shelves. People were honestly buying it. There was a shortage of supply because of, supply chain issues, and people were instantly making 30, 40, 50% returns by just buying, scalping, and then actually going on eBay and listing it there. Now, there are videos all over the internet where people are actually fighting at checkouts just to get some Pokemon cards. It is an absolutely absurd world. But now fast forward 12 months, what's happened? We've pretty much gone through what's almost called a bear market in trading cards and collectibles. Now, some have retained their value. When you look at the top end first edition Charizards, they've probably gone up in value. And that's not attainable for most people. I'm gonna say 99.9% because that fetches a price of more than $450,000. I know that if you're sort of watching this video and going,
what the hell is he talking about?
It's a new world. It is a world out there with collectibles. But the way that I want you to think about this is the same way that we got accustomed to people paying ridiculous amounts on art pieces and paintings by people who died ages ago, only for people to put it into storage. That's pretty much the equivalent for us is trading cards when it's baseball cards, UFC cards, or Pokemon cards. So it's a very interesting world, and I urge you to keep an open mind. So after the influencers stopped talking about it, we have the 25th anniversary and there was hype, but really what it meant was there was more supply into the system. Some people sort of walked away from it and we started seeing an oversupply of trading cards on shelves. This started leading towards people wanting to sell and now realize that, hey, the gravy train has come to a stop. We can't just flip things instantly and make money from it. So what we started seeing was an increase in supply, but the demand wasn't there. It's the same shit I talk about when it comes to property and investing into Australian property. As long as demand's higher than supply, then we're in a territory where there's going to be growth. We've seen the opposite. Now, some Pokemon cards have really retraced almost by 60 or 70%. Some of the cards I've bought, but this is when I was really learning about things. I was really tasting and I wanted to see what this market was about. I've always wanted to understand it. It's been years and years that I was thinking,
Hey, I should collect video games because, hey, one day I'm pretty sure someone's going to be willing to pay for it.
why? Because there's a scarcity. And when there's emotions involved and nostalgia, there might be someone out there that's willing to pay something for it. Now, granted, there is a bit of speculation to this, but this is why you need to collect what you like. For me, it was very important that in the beginning, I needed to taste everything. So I made some losses, I made some really good calls. And when I realized what was happening in Pokemon, I actually understood that, hey, I grew up watching Pokemon, but I actually didn't like Pokemon. I played with the trading cards, but I actually loved watching Dragon Ball. So Dragon Ball Super, another Japanese brand, absolutely amazing brand. And if you have definitely watched either Pokemon or Dragon Ball, definitely smash that like button. So with Dragon Ball Super, it hadn't received as much attention as the Pokemon stuff. So I thought, well, there could be a play here that if I look at the trading cards there, maybe I could buy some stuff there. And that's exactly what I did. And then 2-3 months later, we had the same school of thought come through. This is why I say consumer behavior is probably the best subject I ever learned in university. And it was probably the only one that was worthwhile being at uni for, but that's besides the point. I truly unlocked how you can mix data with the emotion to actually achieve astronomical gains. This is the exact same thing I apply when it comes to crypto or when it comes to NFTs or when it comes to Australian property investing. Now, I said at the start of this video that there might be a unique chance over the next 3 to 6 months to start looking into trading cards again. Last 12 months has been pretty tragic. We've sort of seen the ups and we've come all the way down. So this is similar to anyone that bought crypto in 2018 at the start and went,
Hey, it can never fail, it's always going up.
and then you realize that you had the bear market or crypto winter for a few years, only to come back. If you actually held everything, you'd be sitting pretty right now. For me personally, at the moment, I'm putting my funds into crypto, but that's going to change in the next month or so. I think we're getting to a point where we might see the top of this market, as I've been saying throughout the entire year, Q1 of 2022. That's how I'm positioning myself. And at the end of that, I am going to take profits and go into real estate, but I will also start building my positions again in collectibles. With so much attention out of the market, I think this is a good time where people are trying to just get rid of their collection. If they are good cards, if they are the blue chip of the actual collectibles, trading cards and things like that, I think they're going to retain their value and grow over time. Albeit we won't see such astronomical gains in the immediate short term, but I think we're going to laugh at these prices when we see them in 5 years' time. Where do I see the space going in 3 to 5 years? Well, I think we continue up. We're always going to have bumps in the road, and that's what you get with alternative assets. But when you see the returns that you get, you'll understand why I'm even operating in this market. One, I do love it. There's some cards that I will never sell, but it's always good to know that the stuff that I'm investing in, I'm not just losing all my money. It's actually a game. Investing is like a game for me. I really like it. I understand how market dynamics work, and then I just continue testing and learning, and that's just me as a person. So over the next sort of 6 months to 12 months, I'm going to start buying up more cards. I'm going to build up my positions, and of course, I don't keep everything at home, and you're going to see some of that collection. I put them in different storage centers just because I don't want to get like robbed or something. But essentially, with how I'm investing is that trading cards are a bit of a hedge against the traditional markets when it comes to property. When it comes to crypto, that's up and down. I also don't want to sell if I want to stay liquid. I don't want to do that. This is where I feel like over the next couple of months, I can pick up some undervalued pieces that are blue chip, set them away, and then be in line for the next 3 to 5 years to start offloading some of that for profits. And I'm going to deep dive into the numbers now. Now, in terms of investing, the way that I like to look at trading cards is the sealed product, then there's the cards that are raw, and then the cards that are slabbed or graded, right? Now with grading, that's a whole different ball game. Definitely go check it out on YouTube. I don't have time to sort of sit here and talk about that. I don't really want to bore you with the details of how that works, but essentially those are the 3 sort of things that I'm looking at. So I've been doing this for about 12 months, and the numbers are that I've invested a total of $90,000 in trading cards. Now this could include grading fees, it could include buying collections, it could be, buying a single box and then opening it. So that is my entire cost base of $90,000. Now I say it's over 12 months. I started in and around September, October of last year. By December, I think I got featured in the Australian Financial Review around my collection. At the time was worth about $50,000. Now, despite being in a downtrend for most of the year, these prices will change. But right now, the total value of my portfolio in collectibles is worth about $300,000. So if I was looking at, hey, what sort of return was I getting? Well, I put in $90,000 and now I've ended up with $300,000, and that equates to a 233% result over the last 12 months. It's actually pretty insane. And when you compare that to what you can get in traditional markets, you're not getting that. You're not achieving those sort of results. And that too in a market that's actually been declining, where there's less activity and less attention. I think it's been a phenomenal result. I was actually surprised when I looked at the numbers, and I'm very fortunate that I do like collecting things that actually hold their value and appreciate. That's just a bonus in all of this. But what I think is very important to understand is getting into collectibles and trading cards just because I made a video about it. Well, no, don't do that, because one, I'm not a financial advisor, and I don't think any financial advisor would actually tell you to invest into trading cards. I'm yet to find one, but it is highly volatile. Just like crypto, you've got to look at your risk appetite. But the truth is, if you're not playing at all, you're not playing in this game, which means in the next 10 to 20 years, your choice around trying to achieve a life of financial freedom is almost impossible. So whether you're looking at Australian property, whether you're looking at crypto, whether you're looking at trading cards like Pokemon cards, it doesn't really matter. You just need to go and get involved, get an investment strategy, get a debt reduction strategy, and then really go out there, adapt, and get wealthy. I'm going to show some of my collection right now, so if you are interested, continue watching.
So if we look at these boxes, this is the Assault of the Saiyans box. This was actually my introduction to Dragon Ball Super, and I actually bought these ones for about $300 each, and they would probably be selling now for about $1,200. At the peak, they were selling for about $1,500. And so the reason why they're actually so popular is because you can see here, they've got obviously the Infinite Saiyan rares, but more so it's the special rare signatures, which I'm going to show you in a second what they actually look like. But that's why they gained so much popularity. It was an awesome set, and this was my introduction to it all. Now moving on to the second most expensive box that comes in the Dragon Ball Super collection is Universal Onslaught. And this was a cool set, but it really only had one real awesome card, and that was the actual special rare when it decided to focus. So there's only really one really epic card in this, and it's one of the secret rares. And I'm going to show you in a little bit what that card looked like. It was awesome when it came out. I've got 4 of these. I forgot to mention that of the Assault of the Saiyan box, these ones, I've got probably about 10 of these. So really cool pickup there. But these would be the second most expensive. And finally, the Tournament of Power. So if you were looking at the equivalent in Pokemon, this would be the first edition booster box. Not because this one came out first, but this one is the most popular. It is also the most expensive. Again, all of these actually retailed for about $120 when they released in Australia. And this box is the most expensive. It's pretty much at about $4,000 to $5,000 now. And the reason for that is essentially the secret rare that came in this. So there was only one, and it was very rare to pick up. I believe it was like 1 in every 12 boxes or 1 in every 24 boxes. And this also came with signature rares. So it was a combination of those 2 other boxes in the one box. But yes, I've only got one of these, super expensive. They would sell now for about $4,000 to $4,500. At the peak, they were selling for about $8,000 to $9,000, which is insane. So you could invest in sealed product, leave them sealed and never open them. But if you're like me, I actually enjoy opening up packs. So I've been lucky in a few cases, and I've also bought a lot of cards. But as I was mentioning before, like one of the most rare cards that you can get are like these signature rare cards. And you can see like the artwork is sick. Anyone who follows Dragon Ball like will know exactly what this is. And so the signature rares, they're just a signature of the actual voice actor. And in this case, obviously there was 2 characters on this card, but you can see I obviously like collecting. And so I've got quite a few signature rares here, and some of them I've, actually got myself. By opening packs, but also just buying them as well. I guess in terms of price wise, if you were to pick up, say, something like this, just in its raw form, just like this, you're probably looking at, depending on condition, I mean, this is like mint, so you know, depending on the condition, you're probably paying around $1,000. But if you got it graded and it came back as a PSA 10, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, that would come in at anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000. So if you do actually get them graded, there's a couple of companies that do the grading, but this is PSA. They've been known to be, you know, around for ages, and probably the more well-known one. But essentially they'll come back, they get graded, and in this case, I obviously got a 10. And these are just some of the other signature rares. This is a sick card, but you know, again, with pricing, you're probably looking at, you know, close to $3,000 on a card like this. Same thing with the Vegito, and then there's the less popular characters, you know, but you're still fetching anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. This is Gohan here, and yeah, I've got a couple more here. And the Universal Onslaught box, you can actually pick this card. And this is the reason why it's so expensive, because in a 10, you can see the artwork. It is so cool. And basically with this card, you could sell for about $3,500 to $4,000. So I've got 2 of these, so I'm happy about that. But if you were to look at, I guess, the first edition Charizard equivalent, that would be this card. And this is what comes in the most expensive box, which is the Tournament of Power. And you can just see the artwork is awesome, you know, and unfortunately I've got an 8 on this and I've got a BGS 9. So this is the other company that also grades. These are probably the most well-known companies for grading, but these would fetch anywhere from about 3,000 upwards of about 5,500. So apart from those signature rares and the real, you know, secret rares that you also get these secret rares that come in different sets, and you can see the artwork is so cool. And this is what it looks like before you send it in for grading. So, you know, I pulled this myself, pick up a couple of boxes. The box may cost you say $120 or $130. If you pick a card like this, and it is quite popular, if you pick this one out raw, you could probably sell it for about $400 to $500. But if you get it graded and it comes back as a 10, you're probably looking at about $900 to $1,200. And this card only came out, I'd say, a couple of months ago. And you can just see like the detail in the artwork is so cool. Again, it really comes down to what you like, what you don't like. Again, some I've actually, you know, got myself. Some I've just purchased off the secondary market. If I found a deal that looked cool, you know, some of these cards are just so cool with the foiling and whatnot. So these are the cards that just, you know, they will get sent for grading, and hopefully they come back. And when they do, they can come back as 10s. And this would be really cool to show you, because I've got this card in the raw version, but I've also got that in a PSA 10, which I'll show you in a second. And that is the PSA 10 version, and that's the normal version. So hopefully that's more of like a before and then after, hopefully. So yeah, I've got quite a few of these. And again, you know, price does vary on some of these cards. If it's a popular character, then they could be like $1,200, $1,500, like Broly, very popular character. But then you got some of the ones that aren't so popular, and the cards are quite easy to actually get as even a secret rare. And that would be probably about $400 to $500. So as you guys probably know, I didn't start with Dragon Ball. I actually started with Pokemon, and you can see this is sort of my Charizard collection. Everyone loves Charizard. They all know who it is. Some people don't like it because it's been sort of overdone now. Some of these cards are expensive. Some aren't really that expensive. Like these aren't that expensive. You know, even in a PSA 10, you're probably fetching like $150. But then you can move into, you know, things that are a bit more expensive. And this is from the Evolution set, which is basically like a reprint, but this was the Japanese version. So Pokemon did originate from Japan, so it's really cool to see what they did with the artwork. I personally prefer the cards in Japanese just because the artwork and the quality control was so much better. I've actually got this in a CGC pristine 10, which is actually really difficult to get. Again, not sure how much this would sell for. It'd be at least 1,000. I'm probably going to say it's probably closer to about 1,500. So yeah, really cool there. And I also collect the sealed products as well, which I can show you a little bit of nostalgia, I guess. So if you really want nostalgia, this is it. These are like theme decks that you could buy from like Big W and, you know, from Kmart or whatever the equivalent was back then. I still remember these. These came out in 2000 or in 1999. Then you had like trading card, you know, guides and stuff. And you can see some of this, like if you were involved in the space, this would be nostalgia for you guys. You can see, you know, I remember buying these. I wish I kept a few more sealed, to be honest. But yeah, it would be very difficult to show you all of my sealed collection. But this hopefully gives you a bit of insight as to what I've got.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's weird to like, you know, make these sort of videos because I don't really talk about it all that often. And it's something that it's more a personal passion project, I suppose, collecting these things. But I know that looking at how much it's actually worth worth now is actually crazy. To think that the portfolio is now worth what it is absolutely insane. Where it could be in the next 5 years is anybody's guess, but that's why having the strategy there, hedging it against everything else is important. And for me personally, I will be taking some profits off the table over the next couple of years, but there are some pieces there that I definitely will never sell. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, definitely leave me a comment down below of what your favorite piece was in this collection, or if you're a collector as well, I'd love to know. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks guys.